Have you ever asked, how do I maintain my credit? In this video, I'm going to talk to you about maintaining your credit. I will cover the good, the bad, and the ugly. Welcome to Your Clear Thinking. I'm Roderick Mitchell, author of Credit Straight Talk, Clarity on the Conspiracy. This video is part of a series of videos designed to help you build a solid credit foundation. I mentioned the good, the bad, and the ugly, which are on-time payments, late payments, and delinquent payments. Let's start with the good, on-time payments, which are payments that are received by your creditor before the due date agreed to. If you are making your payments by mail, you are responsible for mailing the payment and allowing enough time for it to be received and processed by the due date. Payments made online are received and processed much faster. A tip that works is to set your payment due dates to fall when you consistently have money, and also set up an online payment option, even if you normally pay by mail, as a way to make a fast payment if you need to. You having a credit rating as paid as agreed is as good as it gets for credit, and maintaining it is very important to your credit well-being. Your history of on-time payments qualify you to enjoy special privileges. Examples of the privileges are preferred customer status, streamlined loan processing, and higher credit limits with low interest rates. These privileges may not look like a big deal at first glance, but when you examine them individually, they are worth having. Preferred customer status means that all your payments of your previous agreements were paid as agreed or better. You are classified as a low risk for repayment and favored for future business. Streamlined loan processing gives you a very short waiting period or even immediate access to the funds you want. Increased credit limits and low interest rates allow you to borrow more money at the lowest possible cost. Next, which is the bad, which are late payments. They are your first steps in having a bad credit rating. Once payments are reported to the credit reporting companies late, they will penalize your credit rating for an extended period of time, usually 5 to 7 years. A good tip is if you know in advance that a payment will be paid late, it would be to your advantage to call your creditor and explain the situation. Ask the creditor to extend the due date or to defer the payment to an agreed time in the near future. Make that payment as agreed and continue to make your scheduled payments. The negative effect of late payments is that they are considered a breach of the agreement. The result of that breach is a future denial of credit or high interest rates, which create a burden all of its own. And the burden being that it increases the chances of more late payments that are also going to negatively affect your credit report because you have higher payments to pay because of the higher interest. Last is the ugly, delinquent payments, which are the point of no return for your credit report rating. When multiple payments are reported delinquent by your creditor to the credit bureaus, your credit rating will drop drastically, almost immediately. Now the situation has reached the point that even if you pay your delinquent account current throughout the life of that agreement, it will not help you having a bad credit rating. The negative information that was reported will remain on your credit report until it reaches the statute of limitations for that particular item or items. The statute of limitations is the guideline or rule determining the period of time that a particular item will be reported negatively on your credit report. Your delinquent account is often turned over to a collection department or sold to a third-party collection agency. The collection agents will try to collect the money owed for that agreement. Often they use pressure tactics, urging you to forfeit the merchandise or by offering discounts on the balance that you owe. Remember, if you enter into a payment plan or any kind of agreement, that you automatically get a new statute of limitations and it will begin all over again. And that bad information will stay on there for an extended period of time, even after it has been paid. Because once the ugly has been reported to the credit reporting companies, it's on your credit report until it reaches the statute of limitations, and it is required to be removed by law. Also remember that if an agreement is 24 months or more unpaid, it is better just to leave it unpaid because it is nearing being removed by the statute of limitations. Collection agents will ask you for your permission to repossess the merchandise that secures to agreement and sell it and apply the money to the delinquent account. But they do that without mentioning that the money that they sell the item for is never enough to cover the balance that you owe. So it really don't help you to forfeit the goods, let them sell it, add it to your account, and get a new statute of limitations. So it don't do you no good at all. I mentioned repossession. Now, repossession is often very stressful and unpleasant situation. And it's because repossession agents use tactics that are similar to harassment. And after a prolonged period of time of this, if the repossession is not successful, your item would not be a target of repossession because it would be considered too costly to pursue. And at this point, it will be written off by the creditor as a loss. That meaning that the debt is uncollectible. But the written off debt still negatively impacts your credit report. I've heard a lot of people say that, well, it was written off, as if that makes it gone. It does not. All collection actions are regulated by the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, FDCPA, and it prohibits mental warfare type telephone attacks and email bombardment attacks. You can report violations and be compensated for unfair actions if you can prove that you have been wronged during the collection process. Record the calls or say the email. Remember that your understanding and maintenance of your credit will be one of the most important things that you do as an adult and that you are solely responsible for in your whole life. So you got to do it right or it's going to work against you. And it will have a major impact on your consideration by employers, insurance companies, creditors, and your credit will also play a big role in your social status because it will dictate where you live, it'll dictate your transportation, it'll dictate the activities you participate in and the schools that your children attend. In this video, I talked to you about maintaining your credit and explaining the good, the bad, and the ugly. On time, late, and delinquent payments, and the effect they have on your credit score. The next video in this series is how do I understand my FICO score? Remember to subscribe below and select the playlist to see all the videos in this series. I'm Roderick Mitchell, author of Credit Straight Talk, clarity on the conspiracy, visit my blog, yourclearthinking.com, and together we rise.